Welcome to the Tibet Center here at 151 West 30th Street, 3rd floor. We will begin by reciting the prayer for the spreading of the teachings throughout the length and breadth of the West, which you'll find in the FAQ section on the front page of the Tibet Center's website. Okay. By the force of the blessings of the non-fallacious three precious gems, and of the truth of our pure selfless wishes, may the precious Buddha's teachings flourish and spread to the expanse of all areas throughout the length and breadth of the West. And for all the people living there together with their near ones, who have engaged in the teachings and have faith and respect for them, may all conditions adverse to their practice of the pure Dharma be dispelled, and an excellent collection of favorable conditions increase like the waxing moon. And especially for those who work on methods to accomplish the flourishing and spreading of the Victorious One's teachings, which are the source of benefit and happiness, may they never be oppressed by masses of interference and adverse conditions, and may this spontaneously happen just as we have hoped and wished. The Heart Sutra. Thus have I heard once. The Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of the Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a big gathering of great monks and great bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the Samadhi, which examines the Dharma's goal, profound illumination. At the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, looking at the profound practice of transcendent knowledge, saw the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Then, through the inspiration of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to Avalokiteshvara, how should those noble ones learn who wish to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge? And Avalokiteshvara answered, Venerable Shariputra, whoever wishes to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge should look at it like this, seeing the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Emptiness itself is form. Emptiness is not separate from form. Form is not separate from emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discriminating awareness, compositional factors in consciousness are empty. Thus all the dharmas are empty and have no characteristics. They are unborn and unceasing. They are not impure or pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, since there is emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discriminating awareness, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no objects of mind, no quality of sight, no quality of hearing, no quality of smelling, no quality of tasting, no quality of sensing, no quality of thought, no quality of mind consciousness. There are no nidanas from ignorance to old age and death, nor their wearing out. There is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no ending of suffering, and no path, no wisdom, no attainment, no non-attainment. Therefore, since there is no attainment, the bodhisattvas abide by means of transcendent knowledge. And since there is no obscurity of mind, they have no fear. They transcend falsity and pass beyond the bounds of sorrow. All the Buddhas who dwell in the past, present, and future, by means of transcendent knowledge, fully and clearly awaken to unsurpassed, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of transcendent knowledge, the mantra of deep insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering should be known as truth, for there is no deception. In transcendent knowledge, the mantra is proclaimed. Tadyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhiswaha. O Shariputra, this is how a Bodhisattva Mahasattva should learn profound transcendent knowledge. Then the Blessed One arose from that Samadhi and praised the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, Good, good, O son of noble family, profound transcendent knowledge should be practiced just as you are taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara that whole gathering in the world with its gods, humans, asuras, and gandharvas, their hearts full of joy, praise the words of the Blessed One. Generate bodhicitta. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach Millennium. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space is universe, as long as sentient beings remain, until then I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Okay, so let's do one rosary of Om Mani Padme Hum. Think of developing the wish to remove the suffering of all others. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Well, the tempo of Om Mani Padme Hum was raised by the...
I know.
We have a dance class next door that
That's right.
is invigorating our cultivation of compassion.
Did that one in.
Thank you. Yes? No, matcha.
Oh, the Japanese.
Yes?
It's
Cheers.
the dust of it.
Very nice. Good evening. Can you close the... So we're discussing ethics for the new millennium by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And we have arrived, according to my notes, on page 10. Second paragraph. Everyone has books, I can see. Okay. So, what is being discussed here is the fact that in this modern time, people are less and less interested in a religious, spiritual answer to questions, existential questions, emotional, spiritual questions. Science has taken that responsibility over, and people have developed such faith in science, which is the inventor of the material tools that so support our lives, making our lives easier, more efficient, that people have begun to believe in science virtually as a new religion. So, what do you think of this?
Yes.
You agree?
The religion part, sure, people in the back saying that that's what they were wanting. It's
On the science.
no science, yeah.
Yeah. Science kind of.
Ozempic, for instance, which is no good for you, but they take it as something useful.
I don't know if they go, I don't know if people are into science, they're just into materialism, the result of, but I don't know how much they trace it back to philosophy of, invention, they just like the stuff.
They like the stuff, but there's also, let's bring AI into this. Well, I don't think we can really say, I think we have to, it's a tool.
Yeah.
And how we use it really determines whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
But we can't think of that as supplanting our own development of knowledge. It's not that we can think of it as the repository of it's a place that I can access for information, but it doesn't supplant an individual's accumulation of knowledge, of wisdom, of experience, of insight, etc. It's simply a tool.
People seem to put their hope in science and their faith in science, which they used to do with their religion.
Yeah, they lean on it, and it replaces prayer in some ways, not fully, but for people because it has like tactile answers. You don't have to pray your sickness away. You can get the pill through science, and your sickness is gone. So you have less of it changes, I guess, the scope of hope. But science, while you can build communities out of it, if you just, I think like what you're kind of getting at is it lacks religion. All religion has community, requires community, which science can lack. Science can bolster the individualism.
What I was suggesting was that science cannot supplant the process, and I was specifically referring to AI, cannot supplant the process of internalizing the assumption of knowledge. I have to work at understanding something. And the process of working towards understanding something changes me to the point where I understand it, where I know it, where I And that knowledge then informs the way I relate to the world. If knowledge is in the cloud, I haven't internalized it. That's what I was where I was going with AI. But in terms of tools, the tool of having access to knowledge, that's useful. No? To have,
I think what you're saying about internalizing, people don't feel they have to internalize knowledge anymore because they can just Google it.
yeah.
So, yeah.
But it's not that they say I don't have to read because I can Google. It's that Googling is so part of our culture now that we don't read. And there's another, I remember when I joined the monastery, we had no books. There were very few books. We worked hard to raise the funds to provide each monk with the textbooks that he was studying. I contributed a little bit of money towards establishing a library where we had the textbooks of other monasteries so that we could go and read these different points of view of what it was that we were studying. And that was sort of a new concept, to have a place, a sort of public place that we could go to and access information. Recently, we were having a discussion about building a proper library. And I said, libraries, in the olden days, we went to libraries, and when I went to school, when I went to college, we went to libraries and we studied there and we checked out books or accessed books. Today we have everything available. We can download books on our tablets, and we can, all Tibetan texts are now available for free to download on a tablet, on an iPad or whatever. And no one reads anymore. No. Reading has gone way down. So, what do you make of that?
Science can't teach you to develop one-pointedness or mind skills. That can teach you to. A teacher will tell you doing the right visualization, things like that. Taming the mind. I don't know if it can be done.
Well, all right, you're talking about science. I'm still talking about AI. AI can provide us with the information, the instruction.
Right.
But we have to do it.
Right. Let me see, something about section on insight. Then you have to internalize.
What are the different techniques available to me from different religions, from different psychological training traditions for developing compassion, a concern for others? It'll be there, I assure you. But we have to do it. We have to scrutinize to establish which is the way to do it correctly.
That's the gap you're pointing at.
Yeah.
And people are putting their faith into something that they're not even internalizing. Since it's there, I don't have to do meditation. I don't know. That seems to be a problem.
Well, I have two thoughts there. One, about when you said you got to the monastery to learn the books, because it was all memorization, right? It was recitation and memorization.
But you still needed a book to memorize from. That was very, we had to share.
Yeah.
You have the text and you have to memorize it.
All right, it's still a vast amount was memorized.
Yes.
Vast amount. And I'm wondering how much that changes the configuration of the brain itself, having developed that ability to memorize so much. And then the second point was what? Something about that, as far as being able to access all the teachings, but not being able to access a teacher, which is kind of crucial for the example of what is possible, in terms of developing compassion.
Here, I don't want people to go running out looking for a teacher,
Yeah,
because that's not how, it's like running out looking for a spouse.
yeah, right.
I think it's like that. But if you really, if you really immerse yourself in the study of the subject, I think if your intentions are pure and if you'll find a teacher.
Yeah.
I think the teacher manifests as a result of your pure pursuit of the qualities that a teacher needs to teach. Pure is an important ingredient. What do you think?
I think in this tradition, that the teacher is important.
No, I'm asking her.
Sorry, I should put my glasses on, so I know where you're looking.
I'm just thinking, off-track question. I was thinking, like, one of this thing about how everything is now, in like the books, the sutras, right? Now everything you can find it on the phone, on the tablet. So I am just like thinking, as we get old, and in the next generation, I have like collected a lot of books and sutras in Chinese and some in English. My concern, like when we get old, when we're not here, what are you gonna do with all those books? Like the next generation, they would think that it's garbage to them and then just trash it, right? But that's not good to them. So that's why you want to stop. Yeah, because everything's on the phone now. What do you do with these books that we have like, what's the proper way?
Well, the more care you take of your books, the more respect for them that you have, the more you will instill in all the people around you that kind of respect. And then after that, we can't do anything about it. But we can at least establish, by our own actions, by our own deep convictions, we can establish habits that people will notice and people will follow. You can't say, take care of my books when I die. Yes, when they find your reincarnation, you'll have all your books there.
I use ChatGPT. I use AI as a tool. And it's as a tool, it's very, very good. But I don't use it as like the spiritual or like learn. I do use it as a learning tool too. Like writing an email young people think, I work at a school, they use ChatGPT, just copy it and say, I wrote it, that's my essay. So we have to learn how to use it. Otherwise, it's a tool, neutral right now, but it could be good or bad. That's my AI. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's very important. We have to think of it as a tool, and tools have value. When we begin to become attached to the tools, when we begin to use them wrong, or when we think that the tools have an inherent value, or they themselves, it's like, I remember Rinpoche, Chungla Rinpoche, talking about libraries in Tibet. And I asked, because we were creating this library at Ratu Monastery, and Rinpoche said, well, libraries were not a sort of part of life in Tibet very much, though there were the aristocrats who had, great collections of the collected works of this person, this lama, that lama, the other. But they thought of them more as objects rather than sources of knowledge. And if you think of them as objects, they have no real value. They become objects of attachment, objects of admiration. You can show respect to this representation of knowledge, of Dharma, of the doctrine, the method by which we can eventually attain enlightenment. But to be attached to it to hold it as an object of attachment.
I know some young people has a conversation with ChatGPT, and they become friends, and because they tell you what you want to hear. And those are the danger, being attached. When they feel, I know the young people, when they feel lonely, they have a conversation with ChatGPT.
Not only young people, apparently.
Yeah.
It's even a tool for old people. I was thinking maybe it would be good to develop a nice ChatGPT buddy, Will you provide your voice for my ChatGPT buddy, Tony? I would like. We'll mix in a little Schweizerdeutsch to give it a little. So, YouTube comments. Recent research supports what Nikki is saying. Students who do the research, searches, organizing, analysis themselves have deeper learning and memory than students who use AI chatbots. Yes, thank you, Matt. And someone recently asked me about the ways in whether ChatGPT, AI is being used as a tool in our development, in our spiritual development, whether it has been incorporated into our Buddhist training. And of course, I'm sure there are situations where it is incorporated. However, the actual work of integrating it into ourselves is still left to us. And that's all that matters. It's not just having a human teacher, it's that we have to do the work of incorporating these concepts into our being. We have to work at developing compassion. We have to work at developing wisdom. We have to work at developing patience. We have to work at developing pure or finer ethics. We have to work at developing each of the perfections that lead to enlightenment. And there are no shortcuts in that. I do think that having this repository of knowledge that we can access so well by means of chat AI is wonderful. But if it makes the process of integrating this into ourselves sloppier, more shallow, then it becomes a hindrance. That's, I think, a hindrance. In other words, having that access, not having to really work to find the knowledge, develop access to the knowledge. If that ease diminishes the profundity with which we approach it, then it's a handicap.
It won't modify our behavior. Only the tough internalization modified behavior eventually, which creates karma, which creates that.
Yes, yeah. Which is karma. I mean, it is action.
Your intention, yes.
And I think that this is something for us to really think about, because I think that more we think about it, more we develop the muscle that helps us apply this in a skillful way. I think that one of the challenges, and you know, please tell me your thoughts, but especially you who are teaching children and we have to really learn to continue to persevere in deepening our knowledge, whether it's on a screen after having accessed some AI program, whether it's with a book, whatever it is, we have to work at maintaining an understanding that it is by reading and by contemplating and by then deepening our sort of absorption of this information that it'll change us. Yes?
So in education, we say experiential learning. Especially, I'm part of the arts, so the arts is you have to do it in person. ChatGPT cannot do it for you because you have to practice every day. Little bit like a dog, you have to practice every day. So we call it experiential learning. You have to do it, you embody the knowledge. So that's the contemplating and meditating. First you hear it, and then contemplate and meditate. That experiential knowledge is not something that we can exchange with the computer. But to do it with the body, that's especially in education and arts, that's what I tell. To put it in practice.
How do you get to Carnegie Hall?
The new free buses that Mom Carney's bringing in. Otherwise you're just a copy machine. You're not learning anything. You can't, well, the arts you can't think. They'll let you know right away.
I think integration is a really good word. It's making me think of our friend Sirkan Rinpoche and the Q&A he had about a month ago. And that was something that came up about conviction and how to like restore your faith, practice Dharma more faithfully with more energy. And we can almost summarize it as like, you got all these books on your bookshelf, but if you're not believing them, no one's making you be a Buddhist. And in like a similar way, they're just like, if they're not being integrated into your life and coming from yourself in that integrated way, they're just words on a page. You might logically believe them or not, but if it's not inspiring through that integration, your actual living, the same way with ChatGPT, it's just words on a screen. Yeah, this is the method, this is how you get there and how you do it, but you're not feeling it, you're not immersed in it. So I think that's a really good word, you know.
But what you've just said takes for granted, or is based on one's having at least read it, right?
That's true.
That's already a big step for most people.
That's
For
true.
most people, the books are on the shelf. ChatGPT is there wherever it happens to sit. I don't know where. So if we've gotten around to reading it, that's begun the process of changing our minds.
That's true. How do we get to that first step?
Reading. Then, of course, once we have read, we have to scrutinize to establish that it is correct, and then we have to work at applying it by means of meditation.
Maybe that's the part in the book where he's alluding to like the modern younger generations are having less and less to do with this religious idea and stuff. I think maybe that's coming in too, because I feel like, especially Western parent raising, it seems like scrutinizing is bad. You're not gonna, don't challenge the parents, don't question, you know, the authorities, these different things, that maybe there's some of that at play in people's psyche, that they don't, you know, they're just taking everything at face value because they're almost trained not to question.
Well, I think most people have given up reading. So if a young person has gotten to the point of scrutinizing, that's extraordinary. I don't know, we have to ask the teachers back here. Do people read anymore? Do young people read? I don't know.
Most definitely.
They do?
Most definitely.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That impresses me.
As far as I know, they don't read like as classically as we did, but they're like reading text and they're reading all these other things. So it's like the content has shifted.
So I don't think that reading text counts as reading.
Right, but that's just like the
Sorry, folks.
for them.
And I do plenty of reading of texts, but I don't put that in the reading department.
Neither do I.
In that case, the kids don't really read much
Yeah.
like they used to. Yeah. They read to get answer what they need for the homework. Skip through and then to get the main point for the homework, to answer the questions.
Well, it's just a generalizing, you know, we're hugely generalizing here about, you know, a massive amount of young people, and there are many different types of young people in different groups, and there's some who are very into reading and literature, and, you know.
Sure.
Yeah, but so we're saying, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many people read throughout time anyway. You know, has it always been a fairly small number of people who really read books and enjoyed them and studied them?
Probably not.
Yeah.
But as we have more access to the books, to the reading material,
Yeah.
we've sort of, there's a sort of tipping point where access is there.
Oh. I think a lot of people have gone back to the hard copy, you know. There was a fling with ebooks, but that's diminishing, they say. People are going back to real in your hand books. The people who read, you know.
I don't know if I don't think I can generalize since there's so billion people. I don't know how
Sure.
much they read or not, but when I ride subways, I do notice a lot of people are on the phone, but that's not an ebook. They are not reading, they're watching
newspaper reading has gone down. Nobody's newspaper running in the train.
Yeah, but the digital subscription of the New York Times is going up every day.
I know, it's very good.
Yeah.
You said earlier that reading went back, access became wider to texts, but
Yes.
reading went down.
Yeah, yeah.
What's that based on?
The phenomenon that we're discussing here, a change, a societal change in focus, in concentration, in, and I don't know that it's necessarily the result of the easy access, or whether it's simply, our time. But as these texts have become more available, the amount of reading has gone down.
You think that's a correlation?
I'm saying I don't know that it is.
Okay.
I'm just saying that there are these two things happening. I don't think it's, there's a relationship. Whether one is the effect of the other, I don't know.
There's a lot more access to everything, right? A lot more, so there's a lot more access to like TV, like video games.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming what we can access, right? I remember once a long time ago, Yogi Bhajan was saying there will come a time when all the world's wisdom will be available to everybody if they want it.
I think we're there.
Yeah.
I really think that ChatGPT provides all information
Yeah.
that is, everything has been digitized so that it's all there.
Yeah.
And this tool enables one to suss out, but having that full access stymies us. And so in that sense, they're related.
That's true.
The whole Tibetan canon is now digitized.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
E.G. Smith did that. E.G. Smith did that, yeah.
And others, all the monasteries had their little
Yeah.
team of monks. Early on, Michael Roach
Yes, he did the rocket.
provided computers. He got a set of, they were sort of second or third hand Indian computers that he distributed to all the monasteries and got monks to, what's it called, input the texts. And I can remember a lot of these computers this was the early days of computers, and the computers were definitely not being maintained properly. There was this one monk who had sunglasses, and the type on those little screens like this, they were green,
Oh, yeah.
and they were flickering like this. And he was sitting back here looking at his everything, and Michael Roach's technique was that he would give the same text to 3 monks, and then input, and then whenever there was a difference in what they put in, that was what he would then work towards correcting, or he had a team of people who corrected those things. And they thereby inputted all the texts in all the monasteries. And once they were there, reading went down.
He claims to have found the original Ratha and then digitized that and then made those hardcover books out of it. Remember?
Yes, yes.
He actually delivered them to the monastery.
Yes, yes. Yes. But that was at Raptor, but all the monasteries, he helped many of them, and many monasteries started doing it on their own, And that process continues so that everything is digitized.
Does this help the monks in their debates? I could
Well,
imagine.
what I'm saying is that when you, in the early days, when we had few texts and when they were really valued, there was a, the concentration, to really understand a text, you go over it over and over and figure it out, and then you go out and debate it. Now you can, you spend more time accessing.
That's the change. Then,
Yeah.
I'm not asking Rinpoche why don't the Tibetans, bind the books, what if a lady's flat piece of paper that just neatly, it's because you have to look at a page a long time, he said. I was very new, it was just making it simple, but I didn't get that concept. The concept of the Western book, you read this, and that. But no, you have to study and absorb and memorize each page, so lying flat is easier than holding it in a bound. I said, why is that the format now? And now you said they bind Western style.
Right.
They bind Western style, but you see monks at prayers, and they have their tablets and their.
Oh, yeah. But even
That's great.
forgetting about digitization, when we started, when these teachings started coming to us, there was very few books in English. And now there's so many books, and even just the books, it's like, how do you keep up? How do you write it? You want to read it, but there's a lot of books that you haven't read yet, and so forth, right? So,
All we have is Mary.
Yes.
We didn't have a Shantideva book, that was long ago. So
Yeah.
many of that honoring a lot.
yeah,
And
many different ones.
Yeah.
Meditation on Emptiness
Many
was a
commentaries.
2-volume thesis
Yes,
from
both
Ann
sides
Arbor,
of the page,
Michigan.
yes. Still have it.
Yeah, I do too. So, yeah, but I think that this is, all right, we can relate it to our access to things in general today, as opposed to 40 years ago. A thing had real, had a value. Those tools that you're referring to, AI as a tool. Tools were valued, and today we don't place that same value in tools because we have access in a totally different way from what we did. No? The knife had a value to your brother.
I hear you talking about cameras 40 years ago.
Yeah, but a camera was.
That's another category, it's another world.
You remember when the Swatch first came out? I think you had one of the first.
Definitely.
And then people had collections of swatches and that thing that kept time. I mean, a watch was a tool. Today it's a piece of jewelry. It's a piece of.
I have a question. So, we have more access to information, and learning gets shallower.
Doesn't have to. I don't think that there's a corollary, but.
But if you value the teaching more, and you observe it differently than just accessing to information, just accessing or learning is a different thing.
So-
I'm just thinking that.
Today we have access to all His Holiness's teachings, all the teachings of the great lamas on YouTube. It's all there. We can receive deep teachings on emptiness and on different interpretations of emptiness, etc. They're all online.
Yes.
How
It's wonderful.
Yeah, but are we sitting in front of our screens watching these things? It's overwhelming, and we lead our lives why is it that we're not all sitting in front of our screens listening? You know, we would go from teaching to teaching by these great lamas, and now here we have they can be there in our room. Why?
Why? What's the question? Why?
Why aren't we all spending all our
There's
free
a
time?
difference between information and knowledge. All this stuff.
No. When His Holiness
Speaking,
teach, yeah.
why aren't we doing that? Because we're here. When I'm not, I'm reading some of the books or watching the YouTubes, yeah?
But, you know,
Once in a
people,
while, then Italian junk or something.
Because we think that we can always go back to it, you know?
Ah,
So I'll go back later on, I always have
yeah,
to go back.
yes.
But then we never go back. Yeah, that's the problem.
And then if you
It's
have
true.
to, teaching is once in a lifetime of Bulgaria, His Holiness is teaching, you listen more.
Yeah.
You observe.
but even, you know, in person, most people in Bodh Gaya are looking at a screen, because His Holiness is far away.
But then you precious it, because you think, you know, you flew all the way from New York or wherever, and you're there. But yeah, now like this, it's just, I
So
can
easy access becomes,
Too easy.
diminishes our appreciation of the value.
You remember that the early days of technology, the little cassette tapes, remember she would wind back a passage, back and forth all the time. Sort of probably showing us how you're supposed to dig in, but maybe that's the way to handle all this information.
Yeah.
Sit right in on it.
And we don't need the cassettes anymore. It's online, it's there. Well, I think
Very interesting.
I think that hopefully this discussion has heightened our self-discipline and our ability to assume the responsibility to do things more thoroughly. I really think that we're fighting against trends that are very difficult to fight. The access to entertainment that we have is so great that to cut through it and to focus it all on, even if it's a YouTube teaching by His Holiness or by some other Lama, or a text, whether it's, you know, reading a book or reading something on our Kindle or whatever the access to the reading is, sitting down and really contemplating and figuring something out, and that we really have to push today. And I hope that this evening sort of helps us develop the resolve and the discipline to just do that a little bit more. And we're talking about reading. Meditation, for any of this reading material to actually become internalized, we have to sit and think about it. We can't just read it. We have to, I mean, as Tony has said, we have to read it over and over and over. That's meditation. That's really, and not just think about the information on the page, as you were saying, but actually taking that information, scrutinizing it, developing a recognition of its truth, and working it, integrating it into our lives. That process is more and more difficult, and hopefully a discussion like this helps us determine to put more emphasis in that.
She said, and some people have to watch out for, oh, it's there, I'll go back to it, it's there, you assume. That's very true.
But we never go back.
But you'll go back. No, No,
I don't.
something else is right. But that's a big, that's a
I
big
catch
thing.
myself that,
A
you know,
new
I-
thing to worry about, a new danger. Complacency, that's the word. Yeah, I know. Maybe.
Yeah, but being aware of our complacency is the first step towards fighting through it. So, recent research supports students who do the research organization analysis themselves have deeper learning and memory than students who use AI chatbots. Well, I must say that a friend just put AI onto my phone,
We used it already.
and I
Very
was
good use.
just amazed by its ability to access and give me. I asked for different interpretations. What's the difference between true existence and inherent existence? And chatbot initially said that they're pretty much the same. And I said, yes, but there are those who consider that a phenomenon could not exist unless it were inherently existent, but deny that phenomenon's true existence. And then chatbots began to explain the difference between the Madhyamika Svatantrika and the Madhyamika Prasangika view. And,
Really?
but I had to push it. And then it began
So
to,
that's good.
how?
Debating with it.
It really did. But when we needed practical advice or funding sources, bing, 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 right away. There it was.
So, chatbot, the
Simple
chatbot
things, very good.
could be a very good source of debate, could be a very good source of, if you're sitting at dinner, you can actually discuss these matters and just see where these things, these ideas lead. The Giluk order, the order that Ratu Dratsang belongs to, is exploring developing an app where you can debate, or the app is challenging you in debate, or you are challenging the app in debate to be able to push yourself or be pushed in scrutinizing ideas. So I work with under-resourced high school students. They do not read books at school. At best, maybe chapters. They watch movie series. Something based on books. They watch movie series based on books. As a result, their writing
Skills.
suffer. Leslie Yerman. Yeah? Isn't there something about being in person in a holy place, or hearing teachings in person from a lama, that's ineffably powerful?
Yeah.
Yes. We have 2 people saying yes. Anyone else for yes?
Yes.
Yes, many yeses. Yes.
Who is this?
There is Matt Casey. Matt is where in Australia? So yes,
7 o'clock in the morning.
hearing in person is definitely, if we have access, as I said at the beginning, if we have access to a teacher, that's wonderful. But we mustn't pursue a teacher the way one might pursue a spouse or a boyfriend or a girlfriend. It's important to pursue truth, work at scrutinizing, and out of that process, guidance will come to one. I think that's a better way of, it's a little old-fashioned, but yes, in-person learning is very important. Okay,
Snappy bunch, really good.
so I think I hope this has been valuable. I think thinking these things is important. So we shall recite.
You're wondering, James said something, right? Tom Jackson.
We're being asked to pray for Tom Jackson as we recite the Sutra of the Recollection of the Noble Three Jewels. I prostrate to the Omniscient One. Thus the Buddha, Bhagavat, Tathagata, Arhat, Samyak Sambuddha, the learned and virtuous one, the Sugata, the knower of the world, the charioteer and tamer of beings, the unsurpassable one, the teacher of devas and humans is the Buddha Bhagavat. The Tathagata is in accord with all merit. He does not waste from rule to virtue. He is completely ornamented with all patience. He is the basis of the treasures of merit. He is adorned with the minor ones. He blossoms with the flowers of the major ones. His activity is timely and appropriate. Seeing him, he is without disharmony. He brings true joy to those who long with faith. His knowledge cannot be overpowered. His strength cannot be challenged. He is the teacher of all sentient beings. He is the father of bodhisattvas. He is the king of noble ones. He is the guide of those who journey to the city of Nirvana. He possesses immeasurable wisdom. He possesses inconceivable confidence. His speech is completely pure. His melody is pleasing. One never has enough of seeing him. His form is incomparable. He is not stained by the realm of desire. He is not stained by the realm of form. He is not affected by the formless realm. He is completely liberated from suffering. He is completely and utterly liberated from the skandhas. He is not possessed with dhatus. His ayatanas are controlled. He has completely cut the knots. He is completely liberated from extreme torment. He is liberated from craving. He has crossed over the river. He is perfected in all the wisdoms. He abides in the wisdom of the Buddha Bhagavats who arise in the past, present, and future. He does not abide in Nirvana. He abides in the ultimate perfection. He dwells on the bhumi where he sees all sentient beings. All these are the perfect virtues of the greatness of the Buddha Bhagavat. The holy Dharma is good at the beginning, good in the middle, and good at the end. Its meaning is excellent. Its words are excellent. It is uncorrupted. It is completely perfect and completely pure. It completely purifies. The Bhagavat teaches the Dharma well. It brings complete vision. It is free from sickness. It is always timely. It directs one further. Seeing it fulfills one's purpose. It brings discriminating insight for the wise. The Dharma, which is taught by the Bhagavat, is revealed properly in the Vinaya. It is renunciation. It causes one to arrive at perfect enlightenment. It is without contradiction. It is pithy. It is trustworthy and puts an end to the journey. As for the Sangha of the great Yana, they enter completely, they enter insightfully, they enter straightforwardly, they enter harmoniously, they are worthy of veneration with joined palms, they are worthy of receiving prostration, they are a field of glorious merit, they are completely capable of receiving all gifts, they are an object of generosity, they are a great object of complete generosity, the protector who possesses great kindness, the omniscient teacher, the basis of oceans of merit and virtue, I prostrate to the Tathagata. Pure, the cause of freedom from passion, virtuous, liberating from the lower realms, this alone is the supreme ultimate truth. I prostrate to the Dharma which is peace. Having been liberated, they show the path to liberation. They are fully dedicated to the disciplines. They are a holy field of merit as such. I prostrate to the Sangha. I prostrate to the Buddha, the teacher. I prostrate to the Dharma, the teacher. I prostrate to the Sangha, the community. I prostrate respectfully always to these three. The Buddha's virtues are inconceivable. The Dharma's virtues are inconceivable. The Sangha's virtues are inconceivable. Having faith in these inconceivables, therefore the traditions are inconceivable. May they be born in a completely pure realm. 8 verses on training the mind. With the determination to accomplish the highest welfare of all sentient beings, who surpass even a wish-granting jewel, I will learn to hold them supremely dear. Whenever I associate with others, I will learn to think of myself as the lowest amongst all, and respectfully hold others to be supreme from the very depths of my heart. In all actions, I will learn to search into my mind, and as soon as a disturbing emotion arises endangering myself and others, I will firmly face and avert it. I will learn to cherish ill-natured beings and those oppressed by strong misdeeds and sufferings as if I had found a precious teacher difficult. When others out of jealousy treat me badly, with abuse, slander, and so on, I will learn to take all loss and offer the victory to them. When the one whom I have benefited with great hope unreasonably hurts me very badly, I will learn to view that person more. In short, I will learn to offer to everyone without exception all help and happiness directly and indirectly, and respectfully take upon myself all harm and suffering among others. I will learn to keep all these practices undefiled by the stain of the 8 worldly concerns, and by understanding all phenomena as like illusions, be released from the bondage. And the prayer for a swift return. Exalted wisdom of all victors gathered in a drop, sole refuge manifest in the form of the one-bearing sacrament, Guru Losam Tuman Rojichen. Please bear witness here today that our prayers may be fulfilled. We beseech the great torch of doctrine, accomplishing from long ago the vast waves of aspirational prayers, Lord of speech, Victor Losam's teachings, spreading them to the ends of the earth by means of explanation and practice. For holding the commitment, I will invite all beings to be my guests in an unsurpassed great awakening. Yet you have withdrawn the activities of the form body that serves the welfare of others. Is that worthy of the supreme among beings, the Bodhisattva? Though impossible for you till cyclic existence end to abandon the commitment to liberate all beings, we beseech the new son of Nirmanakaya to swiftly return from the realm of Dharmakaya, brought forth by Bodhicitta drawn by 7 steeds. Having reached the far limits of scholarship, religious life, and goodness, please, full holder of the sage's teachings, and wish of perfect rule, magnificent truth of the 3 precious jewels, Mahakala Karma Yama Srimati Devi, and the ocean of Dharma protectors, may you spontaneously fulfill our wish, the swift blossoming of the reincarnation's fresh new light face. Thank you. So on Wednesday we will have class in South Orange, New Jersey, 7 o'clock at 502 North Ridgewood Road. And on Saturday there will be a White Tara Sadhana recitation in the same place in South Orange, New Jersey, Saturday at 1 o'clock, which works perfectly with the 12:10 or 12:11 train from Penn Station to Mountain Station, and then you walk up to the Tibet Center, Kunkyap Tardeling.
And the full